Draw your blade, and slash that sub button.
In a world filled to the brim with all types of firearms, missiles,
You got a RPG in a backpack?
tanks, which require much discipline, I'll admit, but nothing seems more elegant, honorable, and flat out cool to see wielded in anime or movies, or even real life, than the sword. But not just any blade, the katana. Anime's most iconic weapon. What comes to mind when you hear that? Maybe you won't relate, but I can still remember in my tadpole days me grabbing a good stick and transforming into the best swordsman in the lands I called the backyard. I'd be slashing and slaying foes, but out of all the possible swords that exist, why was it that I would always picture one specifically? Well, that's what we're going to be diving into today.
Slash the intro.
Japan, strangely for being such a small land, has had such a big impact on the world, from everything to technology advancements, automotives, and other things. Japan is truly a titan of exporting culture, second only to the US. But like all great heroes, the position was forced upon them by someone. And when Japan became a bit too enthusiastic about the whole exporting their culture, that same someone took it upon himself to lightly tap Japan twice. But this is not about those weapons, it's about these kinds. Though to dive deeper into their tools, we have to get a bit of insight into the nation that used them. So have you ever wondered why the Japanese and the Chinese letters seem so alike? Well, that was no accident. When ancient Japan was still rising, China was an older and already established nation. So the Chinese culture that filtered through Korea influenced Japan on everything from rice cultivation, writing, architecture, religion, social structures. So naturally, warfare would be no different. So the first Japanese swords were very inspired by the Chinese jian or the chokuto, a double-edged straight sword, great for chopping and stabbing. The first katanas held this same philosophy, but around 700 AD is where things start to pop off, because by the end of the 10th century, Japan has branched off from China and started doing their own thing.
Calling the relationship between these two complicated is an understatement.
Things get interesting but also murky. The first single-edged curved sword forged was by the legend Amakuni Yatsusuna.
Don't mind his pronunciations, he's being dramatic.
Now what's murky about it is, well, he never signed his blades, so there's debate about the accuracy. But like a 34-year-old willing to flush all his savings down the toilet for a femboy cat NFT, I've bought into the hype. The first curved sword was a tachi.
Knock knock, it's the Mongolian Boy Scouts. No cookies in sight, I'm afraid.
Genghis Khan's boys paid Japan a visit in 1274, evolving the tachi into its next phase, the iconic katana we've all come to love. Being smaller than the tachi makes it easier for close combat, cause if you compare the two, the tachi is a beast. Now, actual sword fights are not flashy and usually end quickly, especially for fighters that are both at high level. So this is where anime takes the wheel. Movies turn up the flashiness, but anime looked at that and said, hold my hentai, and cranked it up to plus ultra. Where movies turned samurai into acrobats, anime went with a nuclear warhead approach with a variety of an XXXTentacion album. We have hip-hop, blind, afro, ghost, MMO, mech, disabled. Don't like the classic black hair? We got lime green, cherry red, snow white, piss yellow. What's that? Hell, some of them don't even use their swords. That's how anime it gets. Is it accurate? No. But what it does capture is how dominating trained samurais were in their heyday. As a regular citizen, you gave those who lived by the blade full respect, not only due to cultural status, but also out of fear. The last thing you wish for is to become the prey of these proud slayers. But what anime did get right is the ideal attitude of the samurai. Proud yet not boastful, courageous yet level-headed, powerful yet disciplined. Those are some of a multitude of reasons people gravitate toward the katana. Not only because of the cool factor, but also the deep and powerful lessons we can extract from those who wielded them. So my real point is, it was never the katana itself. It was a medium for us to deem the ones using it worthy. One of the many statements that stuck with me from one of my favorite animes called Afro Samurai, which goes, "Don't swing a sword if you're not ready to be cut by one."
Oh, say less.
Something we can all learn from the samurai way is that principles are only principles when you apply them to your enemy. That's all the time I have. Thanks for spending it with me. Ab out.